This is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the videos. Subscribing is great as well. So this is the return of, Tony Hawk. He's gotten a little bit older. I've gotten a little bit older. Maybe some of you have gotten a little bit older. Pro Skater 3 plus 4 combined in the styling of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which were remade, remastered a number of years ago. Quite a number of years ago, actually. I think it was like 5 years ago or something like that. And, now we're following up with that with these games, which I was hoping would come a lot sooner, but, better late than never. And a really nice continuation of those absolutely excellent improvements, and it kind of feels like a bit like an expansion or a DLC or just kind of a continuation. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't try to like combine those options, those levels into this one, and just kind of like make like a mega large Tony Hawk kind of thing. But no, the results here are really quite great. If you're a fan, like returning, like you've been, kind of waiting for these because you played them back in the day, or if you're a new player, someone that might become a fan of this, I think you're going to really love this package of games, and you're going to have some fun going around shredding, whether you're playing, like, single-player stuff with the career, as to say, or if you're playing the multiplayer, locally or online, or just even taking in the custom skate maps that people develop, which are super, super cool and quite exciting to dive into and enjoy. So let's talk about this. So if you are a fan of the original, I guess you would say, styling of this, you may be a little disappointed because they've switched the career styling to be like the original stuff. So that might be a bit of an issue if you are like, hey, I want this to be the exact same as it was back in the day. Things have changed, and that might disappoint some. Others won't care. That's just the style that they're going for with this particular release, which, to me, honestly, it works out, but I could see how some would be disappointed by that element of it. So, anyways, let's dive in. We're going to be showing off some of 3, some of 4, then we're going to be talking about some of the custom map stuff and the overall gameplay. So, like, the game here really is quite excellent. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's got some cool stuff going on in it. You got all these different challenges on every level that you're working towards, and that's how you unlock new levels. And then there's like modifiers that make it a little easier, because some of this stuff is pretty grueling, especially Tony Hawk 4 has some genuinely difficult elements to it that make it quite a challenge to tackle and do, which, you either rise to the occasion or you painfully fall behind and fail, like I feel like I did sometimes. Because, that one has quite a challenge to it. But no, you do get a great selection of levels. Usually this, where it's a 2-minute time crunch, which of course you can adjust, like I said, because they've got the modifiers now. Or you have these little skill competitions to see what kind of points you can do against others, and there's all these kind of challenges based around that, which are quite interesting. And as I said, there's a lot going on in this experience. It's quite fun. There's little hidden secrets, there's different challenges, there's different, all kinds of things to see as you're going through it. I wanted to watch the helicopter leave. Oh, that's rough. So anyways, we've been on the quality mode here, fidelity. So that's your like full 4K 60 FPS, that is. There's HDR support, there's spatial sound support, and then we're going to be showing off performance mode in a sec, which allows us to go up to 120 FPS, which is great, but thought I would start with quality, because you get the clearest picture, quality experience, which is awesome. So we're going to quit, and we're going to go all the way back to the main menu, and we're going to turn on that setting from the options, display, and performance. So there's also streamer mode, which I really appreciate, because, do streaming stuff. And then there's control options, crossplay. And then game mods, like I said, to make things a little bit easier if you're struggling or finding things hard. Now, this game does have a weird issue where the main menu does not work. So I think I'm assuming they're gonna patch this pretty quick. I just wanted to make mention of it in case you were having issues like myself. I'm actually playing on a secondary account that's not tethered to an Activision account, and I think it's because if you're tethered to an Activision account, it doesn't work, which is fascinating. So that's how we're kind of dealing with this. I'm going to switch over so you can, pick from a large roster of characters. If you have like the premium thing, you could have like Doomslayer and the Revenant, and then you could buy some extra mystery characters. And kind of sucks having all this progress on a secondary account for me on Xbox, but you get what you get. And then you can create your own skater, and you can unlock tricks and change appearances and buy like tons of in-game stuff that doesn't cost you anything. You can literally earn it with money and points and how you do things, and lots of personalization. And there's all these challenges for extra bonus points. You can gather things and get items and boards, and there's dozens upon dozens of things to gather and enjoy and unlock in this. Just tons. All in-game too. And you can see the secrets, you unlock some and then you get more based on what you do and what you find in the game. You get cool things like ice smoke effects and different characters. And yeah, it's quite sweet. Let's go back to career mode here. And we're going to do some 4. Let's do... I wonder where we should do. The water park's awesome. So you get these large maps, and like I said, you got goals for each of them. And you need to hit these targets, or X amount of them, in order to unlock the next one. And you got to do it in a 2-minute crunch. And for performance mode, it's a drop down to like a dynamic 1440p at 120 FPS. And there is frequent screen tearing in this. I say, maybe frequent is too. Like there's noticeable screen tearing, but it's not constant, but it is noticeable. Saying frequent, I don't know. I noticed it quite a bit when I was kind of doing a stream of this and playing it on Xbox. And anyways, I just thought I would mention that in case it pops up. And you're like, oh, what is this? And it's like, yeah, and you get some screen tearing. And it does show up enough where I'm like, I'd say frequent, but not the biggest deal in the world. Everything else ran pretty smooth. You can play the game locally, 2 players online. You can have up to 8 competing. We've got a couple different multiplayer modes. So, for instance, there's just kind of like an 8-player kind of battle where you're all doing tricks and stuff and competing to be the best. And then there's also the Hawk mode, which is kind of a more intimate competition between skateboarders. And then, of course, like local play, and then kind of a free skate kind of thing too is available online. So they got a bunch of different online modes that you can enjoy as far as like playing against others. And then, of course, there's the Creative Skate Park, which we'll talk a little bit more later on. But yeah, no, the game is pretty jam-packed with the nostalgia and the fun of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Like, this is awesome that they did this. I think they took a little bit too long getting this going, but I am very appreciative that we get to enjoy this. I am hoping that, I hear lots of things about other Tony Hawk games getting a little bit of love and treatment, but it would be really cool to see basically like a new entry in this series. I think would be quite a lot of fun. Just to see them do something new. I don't know if necessarily in the vein of this, or to see something a little bit more ambitious, but it has been a long time since we've gotten a new Tony Hawk game. So it would be pretty cool to see them try to do something that's like, a little different, a little bit neat, and actually get a new ambitious entry in the series in the modern era. You'll also notice that this game is basically set in the modern era too. People have cell phones, some of the modern chat, Tony Hawk and his group of buddies, new and old, a lot of old. They've all aged, so the idea here is it's like actually a progression of time. You know, they've gotten bolder, like I said at the beginning, like I have, and like some watching definitely have too. And it's kind of neat because it's like it's the same game you remember, but it's been improved and it's built in the you know, the design and the vein of 1 and 2. But yeah, the idea is you actually get to see, like, you have that original experience still if you want to go back and play that, I guess, of course. But like here, it's just kind of modernized it so you can actually get a feel of like the passage of time, which is kind of surreal, I guess you would say. Like, it's kind of wild that that has been the case here. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying going back and playing this. I've done a fair bit of streaming on it. I've done a lot of challenges and a lot of missions, and I've progressed, and I've failed, and I've had fun, and I've pulled off crazy combos, and yeah, no, it's a pretty good time. Like, it really does, I don't know, kind of bring me back to like a simpler era of just like kind of fun and skateboarding, and it's something I just really hope they kind of build off of and continue, because I think the foundation here is just absolutely excellent. But I said that about 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, right? I was just waiting for like 3 and 4, and it's like didn't really think it was going to happen, and then yeah, we did eventually get this, and I think that in itself is quite a special thing that it actually did persevere to the point where we actually got to enjoy this, and I think that's just so special. So let's switch gears a bit from doing 3 and 4 and talk about other stuff. So there's free skating, so you can just pick any of the levels and just skateboard around. Single session, you know, getting high scores, speed runs, there's tutorials and the movies, so you get clips of everything. But we're going to be going to the creative parks because we talked about multiplayer already. But creative park, we're just going to pick random character. I don't know. Yeah, Lizzie. Sure, you can do this. 30 skateboarding things, nice. So here, you can go and play a bunch of the parks that people have made. You can see, like, online parks. My account is not linked. Oh, because I'm on my... because the thing's just broke in the servers right now. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Okay, we're going to have to show example maps using a little different trick in... career? Yeah, free skate, and then we can go here. And we don't even have the temporary maps? Wow, that's... yeah, this game is busted on Xbox. It's not like this on the other maps. Okay, so my parks, search parks. Alright, we're gonna have to back out. Oh, it's having a moment. Huh. That's very, very funny. Okay. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. Yeah, so definitely, like, issues here on the Xbox version of this game, which is such a shame because I've been having so much fun with it on other platforms. The game itself is great, it just needs a little bit of, like, patchwork, like I said, where the server stuff is all kind of messed up, and that is a shame. So the creative park system is pretty cool because, like, you really can make some great levels and thoroughly enjoy them and download and play what others have made. So, like, we go to creative park and it's like we're gonna have to actually make a park or show off the creative park so you actually get an idea of things.
This is a sandbox for you.
Yeah, that's great. Good luck. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. So this is the park system. So you can make all kinds of things. And you get all these different, like, pieces that you can place down, and you can rotate, and you can adjust the elevation on. And you can be like, okay, it's on the ground here. And you can see it just kind of snaps really easily. It's super, super cool. And then, you know, you get all these settings, and you can skate yourself. So you could be like, I want to, you know, jump in there and test this out and see what it's like. Oh, how's this going? And it's much improved over what we had with 1 and 2. A lot more complex. So, you know, it looks a lot better. It still doesn't have, like, natural baked lighting for some of the map setups and stuff, for sure. But, like, it's a much, much better thing. Stop giving me a tutorial, I swear. But what's really cool here, too, is just kind of the adjustment and the improvements and stuff. So like, ooh, larger potato pool. That's kind of cool. We could put that right here. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good luck getting up to it. So the game has tons of decorations, your finest shrubbery, landmarks. I have advertisements, right? Real advertisements. They give you lots of cool stuff. A volcano. Well, that's not an actual volcano. Yeah, anyways. So what I wanted to get to is I'm trying to show some of the more dynamic stuff. So an aggressive NPC. Oh, that's what I want. Yeah. We've got goals. So that's the biggest thing here. Is it's easier to show you when I can like show off a map that someone's made already. But like you have goals that you can create. So like smash this object or get this high score. And that really helps for creating maps. So when you are playing maps that people have made, it can be essentially like recreating experiences from other parts of the game. So, for instance, it's like when you're playing on Suburbia, you can have park goals just like this. So if you were to recreate a map from, say, even Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, you could have the actual proper goals, like get this point, do this score, do that. And it just adds a lot more value to the custom maps that people have, because those custom maps now have actual, like, purpose and goals, and they feel like proper, you know, Pro Skater challenge missions. And I think that in itself is really, really quite awesome, and you just get like this sort of never-ending array of content. And then with crossplay and stuff like that, everybody's like pooling and sharing all the maps that they've made and are available for people. And yeah, I think they've got something really special here with the map creator. Personally, I should probably have upgraded this person's skills. Definitely forgot to do that. And I think that is very, very well handled, and I think that system's really, really cool, and there's a lot of potential for that to have some really, really great stuff. Because I know the first game did, like 1 and 2 had some really cool custom maps. But just allowing people to go a little bit further, and with really easy and intuitive tools, I can't wait to see what people build. And if everything was working correctly for this game, I would show you that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of funny, the situation where I have to play on a secondary account because it's so busted on Xbox, which is again kind of weird considering it's the, you know, first party primary sort of, you know, kind of key development thing for this game, where it should be because it's first party. And it's just like, it's just embarrassing with Xbox constantly. It's just tiring. But I mean, I'm used to it. I think a lot of other people are too. That there's like, you know, if a game is a first-party Xbox game, it's going to have problems. And it's going to have bugs, and it's going to have issues. And that's just being on this platform now. That's just the reality of it. But, like, the game is really well polished outside of that. You know, outside of the big technical issues that prevent you from playing most of the game. Or all of the game, depending on your account setup. And, yeah, it's got a great selection of content. I think it's a lot of fun. If you're coming from like a nostalgic standpoint, you will have such a pleasurable time coming back and playing these maps, and you get a lot of value because it's almost like puzzles, right? Like you're trying to figure out how to do things, how to, you know, reach your goals, how to finish these challenges, and then, you know, new players coming in, you've got a great skateboarding game. Very well done. You don't need to have played anything else in this series. You can just come in and just be like shredding around and having an excellent time. I'm hoping we get Master Chief as a character tie-in. Would be really, really cool. Yeah, personally, it'd be quite awesome to see Master Chief in this. And, you know, it's not like this series is too far removed from cameos and stuff, right? But no, there's a lot to enjoy in this game. There's a lot to work towards. There's a lot to earn. There's a lot of unlocks you can enjoy, and it's all kind of in-game, and it's not like microtransactions to the hilt, which is appreciated, and it's just like about fun, awesome skateboarding action as it really should be. And it's so cool to see that we finally got more Tony Hawk action, because it's such a cool series, and it's been, you know, dormant, and it's nice to see them kind of bring it back. And the gap between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 was kind of ridiculous if you really think about it, but no, it's just nice to be back enjoying this, and hopefully other people feel the same way, and have a great time out there in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.